Hey, let me tell you a little secret. Leaders, they show up even when it's quiet. That's because consistency is leadership in motion. Most people treat consistency like a content habit, something optional, something flexible. But presence is interpreted as reliability. But with that being said, on the flip side of the coin, disappearance is interpreted as instability. And I know I probably touched a sore spot with some of my viewers right now because they want to show up online. They want to show up consistently online. They want to show up with their brand online. They want to show up with their products online. They want to show up with their services online. They want to show up with their podcast online. And that consistency feels hard. Feels very hard, and I understand. I get that from a lot of my clients. Very hard. But I want to share 3 things about consistency that I don't think is talked about enough. I know people talk about show up online, post every day and things like that. But I want you to know so you can get a better perspective of why it's important to show up with consistency. The first is trust. People associate repetition with dependability. The second is leadership. Steady presence suggests steady decision making. And they're going to definitely want to work with you if you're steady and can, if you want to say, clear the fog or settle the storm that they're in. Steady decision making, steady structured decision making. Very important. And that's true leadership. And that's the second one. Now, the third is visibility. This is where most people drop the ball. This is where you remain active in environments where perception is formed. And this is where, if you want to say, the hardest parts of most people that I end up talking with, like the hardest thing is showing up consistently in these environments so they can establish their perception. Now, here's the downside. When your presence disappears, doubt fills the gap. Your audience, they don't assume you're busy. They assume you're uncertain. Yet, when presence is steady, authority stabilizes. Trust becomes automatic. Now, I'm going to give you a quick tip. Leadership, it's not performance. It's repeated reliability because consistency isn't loud. It's predictable. And predictability creates credibility. If you want to be trusted like a leader, your presence must reflect it. And with that being said, reliability, it must be visible. And you might be asking, well, how do I do that? That's why the brand roadmap session exists, to engineer reliable visibility. But not only that, structured consistency, professional presence, credibility by design, not hustle, not pressure, just stability. But if you're still going through your learning process, continue through the Build Authority playlist to strengthen leadership positioning.